our social media page maybe has 400 members, right? But if we comment on that and if you go look how many times people actually go onto those pages and say, I want a plumber, I need an accountant, I need a tax advisor, I need a lawyer, I need this. We as the chamber can provide that very important information that's credible. And then you see there's 20 of other people that's normally advising to other lawyers. That's leads that you can phone, right? Step 7, which is in my mind incredibly important, right, is get a cause, right? Focus on that cause, whether it is fixing potholes with your local ward councillor, whether it is fighting crime like investigations that we're now sponsoring, right, into 3 economic crimes in our area, right? Zama Zama miners, the Ford project. That's not even in our jurisdiction. That we, I was personally asked, and I've been a good fortune to assist them. Those causes create emotion and create people follow you. Make people want to follow you, right? Then, again, if you know me, you never. I enjoy breaking rules. So I'm just going to add +1. So it's 7 + 1, right? And that one is get yourself an active, participatory, and supportive board. I've spent a lot of time with many chambers, right, on where you see the 10 or 15 or 20 board members that sits there for the free cup of coffee, the snacks, the begrafenisbroodjies, and you don't hear from them in a month. Get those guys out of the system. Work with in the day-to-day running. I'm not saying getting rid of your board, but I'm saying put a day committee, put 3 or 4 guys that are actually willing to work, and let the other guys make sure you stay in line and you play and properly governed. Right. Then some other points. The screen just now goes over it a bit. Just 2 quick slides, then I'll be done here. Leandri asked me to just talk about members that are not paying. One of the reasons you'll find that people are not paying is my 6th point that I'm going to bring up. The membership doesn't have value, right? A newsletter a week or a month, a couple of social posts. What's the value of belonging to you? But work very hard on your value propositions, add value to your members, and they will actually start paying their membership fees better. Also, starting at the top, provide online payment tools. There's Robert, one of the speakers, if I'm not mistaken, that has an online payment tool. There's products like Quicket, PayFast, many stuff. You don't need to have expensive e-commerce websites. You can literally open up free accounts and get monthly membership fees, once-off fees, everything through these organizations. Make sure that your chamber has proper billing practices. I've been a member of at least 7 or 8 other chambers, apart from the one that I'm the chair of, that I don't get proper invoices. I've never got proper invoices. I never got reminders. What happened is maybe 6 months later when I phone in and say I want to do a function with you guys, they say, but you haven't paid your fee yet. Right? Make sure that you have that in place. And the nice thing is there's automated tools. In our chamber, your monthly invoice, a reminder if you haven't paid, all those type of things happens automated. It's not somebody's job. It just runs. There's all these tools available. Develop a voucher system, right, where people can give to each other memberships and those type of things. Speak to, for example, what we do, busy now, going to restaurants, instead of paying us, give us 10, 100 Rand vouchers and we go give it out in the community. Stuff like that. Right? And we give it as discounts to other people with coming with a small sponsored gifts and new services. Right? We'll put in a refer a member program. For example, at the previous chamber that I ran in 2006, we had a project where somebody, after you signed up your membership, he arrived at your business and he went through a health check with you. Once he's finished with that health check, he then sent that on to Old Mutual to say what life policies and risk covers is in place. It sent it to an accountant where the need was, a lawyer, and everybody. And those guys actually paid his fees. Right? So it worked fantastically to reduce the credit. And I already spoke about membership of value. Right, guys, I still have quite a lot to talk about, but typical me, I have a bit of a sense of heightened self-worth, but that I think is my time. So thank you very much. If there's anything else, I'm happy to chat through it and discuss it in more details. Thank you very much.
John, thank you very much. I think now it's the Q&A session. So, John, will you please still facilitate that? Any
With
questions?
happiness, I look forward to that. I'm just going to try and get this screen view off. How do I do the screen share? Okay, am I back?
No, not yet.
There, I'm back. I'm sure now. All right. I think the best way, if I may, please feel free to send some questions, raise hands, or send questions via the chat function. I've got it open here. If you have any questions that you would like to pose. Normally I say use my Twitter handle, but that's not going to work today. Yes, Clippies. If you can unmute yourself.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you for your presentation. I've learned a lot. Not as difficult to teach me. I'm actually very gullible for information, but thank you for that. I think something that I would like to use as an example that us from the Golden Triangle Chamber of Commerce did during COVID. We immediately realized, and in the past, we were very strict about, we are not a community organization that give up to charity. But we had to quickly realize that there's a huge need in our area for food. So just to give you guys some idea, we distributed 451,000 meals during COVID time. And all that came out of a small office where we got sponsors, even from overseas, and we distributed food. That adds up to about 564 tons of food that we distributed to the needy guys. And out of that, after COVID and the fundings started to end and dry up, we decided now we need to have a vegetable garden, which is totally out of line for what the chamber in the past did. But that was the need for now that we need to hand out. And then, of course, we handed out a lot of sanitizer and mask. We at this stage about 13,000 masks that we distributed, especially small NGOs that really needed this. And the reason why I'm not trying to brag with it, but this is how we try to adjust our focus, what we normally did in the Vaal. Yes, the normal process of challenging the municipality, and we are actually part of the command council in the Sedibeng region, where our figures were being read as part of Sedibeng's figures going to Gauteng province and the premier. So I just wanted to say this is an example of what we did in the recent past in Vanderbilt Park. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Clippies. I'm going to have to be honest with you here on two things about your feeding program. One, I had that exact same debate that the chamber involved in feeding schemes and giving food. And then you guys did it, and we actually copycatted you in a sense on a much smaller scale, I'll have to say. But yes, thank you for that.
Thanks.
Fantastic. And that's what I mean by cause. Chase a cause, show visibility, and be I think, and Hettien's proposal as well, be a leader in your community, be a visible person in your community. Hi, Linda. Yes, if you just unmute yourself.
Good morning. Thank you for the presentation, John. Basically, on our side, we did all of that already, and of course, it is a successful program. What I would like to add is some practicalities. I like to be practical like you are. We identified that there's an issue with, we basically kind of maxed out with members, and you could, for the life of me, you couldn't sign people up that's in a shopping center because they get the fee, they get the protection, they've got everything. They really don't care about anything else. So we came up with the plan that we sign up the shopping center as a package. So the shopping center management would pay us like 2,000 or whatever the size of the shopping center might be. And then we include all their tenants as full members. So they are on our websites, they get invitations to all our networking functions, of which we have 20 a year, because that is, the more electronic we go, the more there is a need for people to connect personally.
I agree.
So that is taking off very well, so that now we have solved two problems. We can communicate with those people and we have a larger voice to represent them. And we also obviously get in an income stream to make up for all the losses that we had. Then the second thing that we are doing is, much as we say we're small business orientated, without the big sponsors, we cannot do what we do. So, and you don't connect with those people through normal newsletters and stuff. The secretary gets it and files it. So we created a President's Club where every couple of months or so we have a getaway with our president, where these CEOs or owners of the 10 largest businesses in our chamber can connect. And they obviously pay for the getaway, they can afford it. But just to make them feel special and give them a special space to entertain their ideas, suggestions, and concerns. And with that, we've solved many problems. We've saved big businesses from going under because of ESCOM rates and stuff like that. So that's just my 2 extra suggestions I want to put out.
Wow. Thank you, Linda. And again, I think everything that you've mentioned there, apart from a very clever billing model, was you were speaking to the entrepreneurs, not to the business. You were speaking to what the big business guys need. It's a bit of a personal connection. It's a personal conversation. And from there, the real issues come up and you can actually play an active role. So thank you for that, Linda. Hazibu Chamber. I don't know the name. My apologies.
Andre.
See what's written.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to say thank you once again. The input today, being in baby shoes, is excellent. Thank you for that. I will definitely apply.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm actually coming down to visit your area soon for pleasure. Happy to drink a cup of coffee.
Let's meet for coffee, yes, or a breakfast. Let me know.
Oh, lovely. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Hay.
Thanks. Robert.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I also found your presentation quite informative. Just maybe something from my side as well, relating to providing digital engagement channels. WhatsApp has now launched a WhatsApp for Business channel, which means that a chamber can, for the price of a SIM card and a very cheap smartphone for $400, most probably provide a catalog on WhatsApp for Business to allow the chambers to market the businesses. So let's say, for instance, you put a sticker on the front door of a business saying that this business belongs to the X chamber, and if you need any more information from our chamber, you can WhatsApp this number. Now, that number can have a catalog on where you can list all the businesses and their contact details, and most probably ask questions or answer questions from the general public in an immediate method. It also has things like autoresponders and away from the office messages, and it's really extremely cost effective. And if you look at the chosen method of communication today, WhatsApp will really add value in terms of making you guys visible and providing feedback to the community where you are operational.
Thanks, Robert. Well, I must say that I've had the privilege to chat to you twice already, and I think I had a headache every time when I left there.
Sorry, John.
Not in a bad way, in a great way, because there's so many things that, and I think that's when I spoke to fear as well. That some of us, more older business people, if you say WhatsApp, you think it's where my son sends porn and my daughter's boyfriend is trying to chat her up. That's all that you see of it. You don't realize the tools that are available. And luckily, I know you work with Lappies as well. I'm going to call on you quite aggressively to get that implemented. Thank you. Esther.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, John. That was most informative. I also like the idea of going to the shopping centres. I think it's a very good awareness campaign to do that. And we've got quite a few here in the bowl, so that'll be great for us to maybe leverage on that. Yeah, I just want to say, John, that with our management team, we have a weekly social gathering that we invite businesses individually to come, not more than about 20 to 30 people weekly for a social gathering, and then introduce what we do. And that is more personal than having a big function. So we try and do that and just give them special attention. They get to meet in person the president or management team, let's say that. So also what we have on the 25th is we've got a nice gathering the afternoon with the LPUs and business leaders of the GTCOC and the GTCOC. Maybe Lappies can just tell us a bit more about what that will be, but I think that'll be nice also just to give you guys an idea of what we do in the VOL. We still have a problem with payment, I'll say that, and I think that's a challenge for a lot of people, that because they're not actively part of the business chamber, we struggle to get the money in. That's just the one thing. And then the other thing that I would just like to know is if there's business chambers out there that does fundraising events, if they could maybe share with us what are those fundraising events, because obviously you make your money by means of your membership fees, but being in the situation, in the economic situation, and people losing their jobs and resigning from the business chamber, you still need the money to operate, and we would like to get ideas from other business chambers also, just to see, what are they busy doing to raise funds. And maybe if I can just ask you, John, just to give Klippies quickly just a chance just to tell you about the LML lead administrator, Mr. Gilberto Martins, and his colleague Sila Zino, who will most probably attend, and who invited us. So maybe he knows more about it than I do. I would just like to give the floor to him to just explain.
Yeah, if I can just come in here, our time is actually up. So I see Jacques' hand is up and Klippies to talk. So if we can maybe just make this kind of quick, otherwise we're going to run too much over time.
Cool.
Thank you. Mine is a quick question on how to involve the informal sector, or how to approach that from a membership perspective.
The informal sector has a very different need than, and also consumption of information need than what the typical old school British chamber model is. I found, and this is just experience, not textbook, the two ways we've really made inroads into our local communities is, firstly, we like I said, cause driven. It was COVID when we started dealing with them. We had a small food parcel campaign going, but more importantly, what was a big fight for them was the illegal cigarette trade, and a huge amount of, and the Pakistanis, as they put it, kept on selling illegal cigarettes, and the South African gogos, who have something to lose, their kids are in school, their holiday, couldn't keep on selling. So we drove that with the local police. That was the one side. As a smoker, it was actually a very difficult emotional battle for me to stop a guy from selling cigarettes when you struggle to find. But that on one side. And the second one is we've taken an educatory type of approach. Luckily, I've got a nice team behind me. We developed what we call the small business or micro business leadership course, which goes from marketing, accounting, everything, plain language, not GPs, cost of sales. It's turnover, it's leftovers. It is how to save for how to work at your monthly expenses, your daily. What is marketing? What's identifying a market? Because one of the problems in the informal market is you see very quick setup of surplus economies. You find 15 ladies standing in a row selling fed cook or tomatoes, or the same. If you walk into a tourism destination, you can buy a rhino at the same rhino at everybody, and it causes a price war. So just to help them with that. So that was two, and then the third one is to actually on the ground involvement, help them and be there and be visible. That's my advice, and I would like to chat to the Living Bosch and those guys to see how we can actually better that. Thank you.
Thank you, John. 2 minutes, Vinda. I will be very short. We realize, John, that there's different levels of membership. You've got your normal SMMEs, and then we've got all our corporate, and LPU stands for large power users. So what we decided, because we're under administration and the large power users battle to get communication going between the administrators and the big power users. So we've set up a session for them on the 25th, where the administrator and his team will be there and an informal basis having a discussion with their largest supporters of the revenue coming to Mfuleni. So yeah, we're very excited. We have invited about 50. We've got a list of 200, but we selectively invited 50 of them. So hopefully they will come and use this opportunity to interact directly with the administrator. And then lastly, with the township and the informal traders, we were part and parcel of a business hub in Bopilong, where we involved our local university to give training to these entrepreneurs in this called small cubicles and supply them with furniture and just help them, because they're already helping themselves. And I think what is important for us, beautification of your area is the prerequisite before we help you. If you don't clean up, we don't help. And that's a simple thing that we need to pressurize the townships to clean up themselves. Thank you.
Thanks. I just want to add a last point, then Vinda can also chase me away. What we can add to there with Clippies, what we were quite fortunate with Werner being involved with our chamber. We now, with 2 projects that they're doing with the ETI, we have helped the Fieldway College. I think they now have 1,200 annualized students fully sponsored, and 150 in the hospitality and beauty and hair and beauty industry. So in our area, we've pulled about 1,300 people into education and not fighting in the job market. So it's sometimes what sounds like a complex thing that can, in your network, be so easy to make a massive impact. Thank you very much.
John, thank you very much. We appreciate your presentation and you being so clued up on what's going on in a business chamber and with small businesses. I'm sure most of the attendees felt like you were talking to them directly. So thank you very much for your time and your assistance, and thanks for making the presentation available to the chambers. We appreciate.
Thank you very much.
It's not a guest speaker, it's just an introduction. Is Mr. Lunga Siu. He drives the Telkom YEP program, and just for an introduction of this program to the group, Lunga, if you will, I'm giving